We'll get the hand warmers out. It's going to be a cold night at Lambeau Field. Packers and Titans. Some might be thinking change to that 1967 Ice Bowl. Jeremy, you know it was so cold that night? The color of these pictures took the night off. Black and white showed up, of course. You see that. Okay, it won't be that cold, but it's Lambeau and it's winter time of year, of course. The forecast calls for a high of 31 and a low of 24. That could make it the coldest pre-December game the Titans have played in since 1999. When it comes to the QBs, Ryan Tannehill, 1-3. And his chances when it comes to those freezing temps. Aaron Rodgers, a little longer in the tooth. He's been here before. That happens when you play in Green Bay. 23-8, so let's just say he's a little more experienced when it's freezing out. Well, Ryan Harris, he's not too scared of those cold temps. He dealt with that some time ago in Denver before. I'm curious here, Ryan, are we putting on double layers? You know, are we warming up? Is some heaters on the sideline? What's the key to playing in cold weather here?
Vaseline and neoprene. I'm telling the truth. They put out tubs of Vaseline, petroleum jelly. You put it on your arms, even behind your ears, to cover the pores, to keep you warm. But if you want to be elite in the NFL in cold weather games, you get a neoprene scuba suit. And yes, the lineman we cut out the armpits, and that was a game changer, something that Peyton Manning introduced us to from Tom Brady. It's something that makes a huge difference in the game and keeps your warmth with you. So Vaseline and neoprene, especially going into Green Bay here in November.
I saw it right there. It's going to feel like 11 degrees. Petroleum jelly, you know how sticky it's going to get that if it comes to that later here tonight between those two. It's just too cold at Lambeau. But if we're speaking Aaron Rodgers, he might be the Night King version of November. 18 wins when playing at home in his career. Why does this time of year seem like it always plays in his favor?
Well, in cold weather games, he's ready for everything it entails, and it sounds different for a player. The clanking on your helmet sounds louder. Even putting on your helmet, you hear the rustling of the pads because they're frozen. The water coming out of the bottle sounds different. And if you're not ready for that, it can really take you by surprise. And the great thing for Aaron Rodgers right now is he is starting to build his offense. They're going to probably get Randall Cobb back, and he has been connecting now with rookie wide receiver Christian Watkins. I mean, this young man is good. He could have a dual threat passing option with the run game. Hopefully the defense can hold up, and Aaron Rodgers can then get his 19th win in November at home in his career.
All right, Rodgers trying to get something going here after those first 5 losses there, maybe 2 in a row. The Titans, they've won 5 straight this season when Ryan Tannehill has been the starter. But does he need to show up here tonight and maybe have his best game of the season against the Packers?
No question he has to have his best game, and it starts by throwing 3 touchdowns for the first time this year. They can no longer ride Derrick Henry as the only option in the offense. Now, good for Ryan Tannehill. He had a great game last week. Finding and creating connections with Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. If you hear that name a lot, you are going to have a successful night if you're a Titans fan. But Ryan Tannehill has to step it up. Even being in first place in the AFC South, the Titans still have not dispelled any of those questions that have come up about how good they are. This all rests in Ryan Tannehill's hands. This is why he's getting paid $29 million. He has to win games like this.
I'm curious, Ryan, though, do you really see him throwing 30, 40 times a game? We know their A1 thing is to run the ball, hand off to Derrick Henry about 30 times a game. But can that really be a formula, giving Ryan Tannehill the ball 30 times, maybe 40 times throwing?
It needs to be, because to be honest, you've seen what happens when the Titans have Derrick Henry in the playoffs. You cannot be a one-trick pony in the playoffs. He has to keep different defenses, off balance, and he just has not been consistent enough to do that. They also have an issue at left tackle in terms of play, so this is going to be a tough night on the road, and Lambeau, it feels like the stadium kind of bends back over the top of you when you're down on that field. It's a wild place to play, but Ryan Tannehill has yet to have a signature win, a notch on his belt like this, and this would go a long way, and not just for all the playoff hopes, Brandon, but for the players on that team who have doubts about whether he can lead them to a championship.
He has to do his job on that side of the ball. And the defense, look, they've been stingy the past few weeks. If you look at the numbers, they're a little banged up. But does that group need to be key here for victory, along with the offense, of course?
They absolutely will be key. 6 straight games with 3 or more sacks. Last week, 6 alone. Now, Bud Dupree, it doesn't look like he'll be playing tonight, or if so, he will be injured or hurt significantly. And Jeffrey Simmons was limited in practice, but this defensive line can attack you from the inside, from the outside. They have a resurging DeMarcus Walker, who everybody in the NFL had written off out of Florida State. So if this defensive line can get after Aaron Rodgers, it could be a huge win for the Tennessee Titans.
All right, and you got to give me your extra pick Titans here. You rolling with them or the Night King Aaron Rodgers, who just somehow always wins when he's at Lambeau? What you got here?
I'm going with the Night King. It sounds like a missing, character in Game of Thrones. Give me the Packers here, 27-17. The Night King reigns. Winter is coming.
Right, that is the character. That's the villain in Game of Thrones. That's the reason I've been saying Night King.
Oh,
you gotta Google it, right? You just snitched on yourself. You don't watch Game of Thrones.
Nope. It was the people.
Nope.
Hey, Arya got him with the sword. I got the shirt. Don't you doubt me. Come on, bro. I almost named my kid Arya. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, what does a hit feel like that in those type of temps? I'm just curious.
Just a bang. It's just a freezes you right there. It's so loud when you play in cold weather games. It's like the metal doesn't want to be out there. The rubber on the gloves doesn't want to be out there. Your cleats are screaming for the warm sidelines. It's a bad place, man. And then you all of a sudden you turn over and there's Aaron Rodgers just smiling at you. You cold? Oh, man, you can't do it. Terrible place to be out there, Lambeau.
Ryan Harris, the guys need to do all things covered in the podcast. The guys always checking it out there. Boy, always the sound effect. I don't even know what that was. Patrick Peterson and Brian McFadden always breaking it down. Check out the fellas there. I'm sure they won't be talking about the cold later tonight on Thursday Night Football.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.